good evening. How are you doing today? Happy Saturday. It may be coming into Sunday morning in Uganda, but happy Saturday for those of you who are still on Saturday, June the 6th, 2026. I wanted to do a very brief video about what is circulating on social media and highlight some of the positive things that are going on in Uganda for Ugandans, so that we're not blindsided and focus on the negative. Okay, my name is Lady. I am back to chat a bit further about what's going on in Uganda. I'm coming to you from the US right now. It's about 4 or 5 p.m., almost 5 p.m. here, West Coast time. Okay. I'm more wonder too, for Ebya and your lady. Tamika Bian Kong and Knock woman knock. Matika Timay over Uganda. I'm here over and then on a Waloricom Juma Beju Matika Timay. Pianma Reginald Water and on my bed in a vanity. Damete were gonna or med get one wa ikama jama mobile tea to twale wa jol a lot kaunen. Okay, so I'm here to highlight on the good things that are happening in Uganda, and to keep the faith alive, keep us on the positive side despite lots of negativity going on. I wanted to speak a little bit about the debate about Rwandese people in Uganda and how they're trying to defend Gashumba and Dr. Lawrence Muganga is one. Those are one of the two of the two key players in the, I'll call it comedy of Rwandese placement in Uganda. We don't, as a people of Uganda, we do not hate Rwandese people as a people. Okay. I believe there's good and bad people everywhere, like many people believe. There are murderers in any person, any group of people. There's every kind of group of people, behavior, belief, character, in every group or nationality of people, everywhere in the world. In this day and age, you can't say certain people are like this or certain people are like that. So we can't really say that Rwandese particularly are all bad, like all of them are terrible people. No, we can't say that because it won't be true. Let's give credit where it's due. The problem with the Rwandese in Uganda is that they came seeking help. And I'm not saying they'd have to stay helpless. Ugandans embraced them, gave them a home, gave them clothing, gave them plots of land to grow their food. We gave them everything to keep them at home, welcome them, make them feel at home, took them out of camps, brought them into the community, integrated them. We gave them our names, we gave them our food, we gave them our culture. Many blended in, which would be perfectly fine. Believe it or not, the reason I speak English is because of some sort of blending in. Atika wachi tikuberichani debate ma wali lokom Rwandese ko Rwandese betini ko Rwandese ya temeni ni joma raju lok madam tika lokoneni ubera da malobu lokom Rwandese matie Uganda bien kai kermer ka ki loga da dano joma raju ki joma bejo tie ka weng iloboni pero mu wachi Chinese dong belo pero mu wachi munya dong belo pero mu wachi ochol dong belo pero mu wachi jo Mexican dong belo nyo joma raju lo joma petie wachu ni rubabe na po yubu kudi dano manotie I gruba chel maketi kit gi nyo tich gi dong bejo ma weng ma leng loyo pa jomu kenne eni pada atika wachi wagene wanen loka Rwandese enini kiada inano Dano makilwone Rwandese ni. One pekete poti wachi gen weng dongo joma raj wa joma ti wako wa joma ti kakwena weng ni Rwandese te kido itiki remo pa Rwanda inde dano maraj. Kugu bena eni bada ruba po chwe yukori dano muberu kumeno mano gruba chel uberu la kiramani ni gen noka weng chi group mukerne uberu la joma mukerne ko eni bada chi gina mi Rwandese mati Uganda ni rajo gin wakatere joma Rwandese mati Uganda ni gin dano ma obino ma obera ria yela gupiano kun gitika yenyu kwa ma oli da bebe kwa piantungangi kachano luenyu totong no tiye maraja deda chiwa jolo gi wamini gi kaberu wamini gi gai wamini gi ngom jo mo kana lutiano gi nying jo Uganda wamini gi yo menongo don lo be kwage wamini gi jami weng mai ramo tamune ma kadano bien welo I jolly meal Ugandans down manually ma Uganda twin down uberu down jo ma uberu ikare mago jolo kere jo Rwandese ni down ma twin gu beru beju gu jolo bena ki be twin ki ma kit maruba wati kache welo ma obiano nyo down ma ruenyo down ma mero kon itimo mabe chalo umero ijolo chalo mero Yesu bena ki bi jolo kama Mary ucharo chenywale yeni la kwa diang monini ujolo wai bien wa kunywa latini kikaka enini akul diang eni be putie wa kunyoni I gene Bethlehem kacha chi jol ma wan wa jolo kere Johnny wa mini gi jami ro weng guberu gang mot la buona yela Johnny do lokero now ko badichani Rwandese unerne danu me Uganda mier po yue en perotika kenyu one poor take down ma kilwoni Rwandese wa kan down ma ti Rwandese do ata ber ma beje ne benatie en to macha me Uganda ni en wa ko berchani local Rwandese ku ka wenge en wa Dr. Lawrence Muganga ni pero mo beru mot pianti ka yele ki kwete ki tek weng men yutani en de tie do nyoli me Uganda dong mere ma do karo ma en ni koneni ko de date ma giti kere ni no pere uno ayela mo beberpe I'm saying that this Dr. Lawrence Muganga, had it been that Rwandese arrived in Uganda or migrated in Uganda like I came to the United States, and these guys came and, you know, Uganda was a level playing field. They came and, you know, worked hard on merit, earned what they deserve from working hard and letting Ugandans be and letting everyone do what they can to achieve what they can. You know, had that been the case, there would be no debate about where Dr. Lawrence Muganga is from. We wouldn't care if Dr. Lawrence Muganga fell from the sky. We wouldn't care. If Uganda was not, you know, stifled by Rwandese people, that is the problem we have in Uganda, and that is why there's a huge debate about the belonging of Dr. Lawrence Muganga and why it is wrong for Dr. Lawrence Muganga to be the minister of an intimate ministry like internal affairs that deals with immigration identity of a country like Uganda. That is the problem with Rwandese people in Uganda. The fact that the president of Uganda is a Rwandese national, is a Rwandese refugee. Even if, let's say, he was, and let Ugandans be, you know, you would say, you know what? He's not a terrible human being. And he allowed for term limits to be, and he allowed for age limit to be, and he allowed for Ugandans who are professional, educated, worth it, have earned positions to live in to have their positions and live. A simple thing as living is now a decision of these Rwandese people when it comes to Ugandans. That is the problem we have. with these Rwandese people. That is why Uganda cannot continue being peaceful, living peacefully, and ignoring the problem of Rwandese people in Uganda. Atika wachi, gino we akopeti chawa ni lokom Rwanda dong joma aki Rwanda dong tega deda ena ye piani Johnny do binu kun gimiete gini law down manually me Uganda lawyer. Teach and manen madano konan go binu magiberu mot. Mamu 7 keri no kwaila dit lowo. No beer mwagadi aki kom, no pick a dear term limit, no pick a dear age limit. Uno joma yanyu teach, no teach, kita teach miero no ngakere miero be kenen anati warokan ini. Warokan yi America kan in kagi money ini no ni ini twero. Ichere chunkere. Ichere chite mune pian ini twero. Peki bi penyi ai kwene. Ka ini twero koni ber American, koni ber Itimu kita iumer teki pay toro check. Ento man me Uganda ni. Koi go gina ye la dit lobo. Gina ye ko minister menga. Kupedi chani dong lutiano ge dong gitika chwalo ne. Med makoloch kun ki wote gweto jo manually me Uganda. Kun ki wote neko inano jo kwame Uganda kupedi chawane in keketi in down my lawn nyo tiki business matika word mabe unyo tiki asset maduan Uganda unyo in latela mabe Uganda unyo in iti position mabe Uganda kwoni baby beru kita ruba yubo ni ubed kere kwoni Museveni gia yetiero awena mamiere kwoni utumkere. Gena yelu kwa nko padano, gena yelu ma teach about Ugandans, gena yelu ne Ugandans, gena yelu ket Ugandans gena camp, gena yelu to look Ugandans ki chilem, gena anywhere look Rwandese ni raja deda Uganda. The reason why Rwandese are a complete pest and must leave Uganda is because of their habits, their behaviors, and what they have turned Uganda to be. It is because of Rwandese that now the age limit for presidency is till death. It is because of Rwandese that term limits for presidency is off limits now. You could be until forever. It is because of Rwandese that certain groups of people must be, in camps. Certain group of people, their homes must be broken. Certain groups of people, like certain kingdoms, must not thrive. Certain, the kingdom of Ankole, because of the Rwandese coming in, Museveni made sure that the Ankole kingdom does not exist because he feels like he cannot exist under another king. You see, because of Rwandese, actually people had to go and live in camps. Because of Rwandese coming in, Luero, several Baganda were killed. Several, numberless. You cannot count. You cannot imagine how many people from Buganda died in Luero while Museveni was ushering in. Because of Rwandese, HIV became a big deal because they literally injected Ugandans with HIV. Because of Rwandese, people, the youth who are 80% of the population of Uganda are hopeless. Tons of them take flights to go and work in the Middle East. Uganda, Museveni made fun of them the other day about going to Dubai to look for what and so on and so forth. He's mocking them, and yet he knows exactly what he did. Because of Rwandese, all government agencies for Uganda were privatized and shared amongst themselves. The little group of Rwandese, of Museveni's company that came at once, split Ugandans at a dining table while they had dinner to say, you take over this bank, you take over this bank, you take over this hospital, you take over this service, you take over this. And because of that, because of Rwandese, Uganda no longer has services that serve the people. All services are sucking the life out of Ugandans, and whatever money that's left, little here and there, is taken up by them. It is because of Rwandese we pay hefty taxes and see no medications in hospitals, no roads, none of the services that should have been provided to Ugandans as a national of a country, despite the taxes that are paid. It is because of Rwandese. Offices like URA, they can literally hold a meeting in Kinyarwanda and because they're all Rwandese. It is because of Rwandese that in Uganda, a university graduate has no hopes that they could graduate with a degree in bioengineering. Like one of the youths who went to see Museveni with Kasuku when they went to the State House. When Museveni asked him what he studied bioengineering, but he's a TikToker. I'm not saying TikTok is not income. You know, you don't make enough on TikTok. People make a killing on TikTok. But I'm talking about instances where, compared to what he would be doing if he would have the access to perform as a biotech engineer, he would have excelled. He would serve his country. He would do well for Uganda and for himself. Okay? It is because of Rwandese. I can name on and on and on. It is because of Rwandese there's a sovereignty bill. It is because of Rwandese that oppositions cannot exist in Uganda except designer oppositions for Museveni, designed by Museveni, like the Besige and Mpuga and DP and all that, all those parties. And DP shamelessly is now coming out to say or appear as a Rwandese whatever. It is because of these Rwandese that Gashumba will come out and say he can command M23 to come and clear Uganda of indigenous Ugandans because he feels like he can. It is because of Banyarwanda that the parliament of Uganda, a whole speaker, is abducted like a thief and not brought before court and not prosecuted. Even if she, let's say they have a special way of handling this, she was not handled, her case was not handled legally the way it should because of Rwandese. Atika wachi, gino wero dong jo makilwani Banyarwanda o miero a kilo wo Uganda. Dok miero jo Uganda pedo yegi pien kare magien bino yang ki yegi wajologi ento dongu doke wango a yeloko. O miero pego peri pien manaka gibin a chulu beri camp. Manaka gibin time limits and makabay la dirlo miero ben mwaka pa ko mwaka dini. Eni donki ngoloko la dirlo bodong ramo beru la dirlo la benaka. Man Museveni tika merte ruenya ka ruenya. Man yuta ni Museveni bu beru president kon kwane tie kon kwane pe. Bien ki choya de constitution I pen check me lobo ni la dirlo bo pe tie ki ngo agite penge. Ineno ena miurachi pi en pe Rwandese chelo ki wachi mwaka pa president pedong pege para kono ini mwaka mia beach ibina bina romberu la dirlobo en dong pege paro pian yang no ki wachi mwaka piera beer we beach no dong ka en do karo dong pero mo chung cha la dirlobo en to pian munya Rwanda ditie en la mwaka en ki diro man dong kerin mwaka piera beach nyo mwaka mia bichel I romberu la dirlobo la boya yela mo ka kan pian chek dong ki la ko inano Pi en Banyarwanda chelo ko beri chani Latin culture kwanwa university eni no put piaramo bene peramo mino Latin eni position meneno ni anda kwana o kumanda romo chako yenyu teach pian teach pare dana di ma kwana ma gima ma girom temne pe Latin mon la leon chaki ker cher state house ka cha gen jo ma TikTok bu cher gen ni la cho ma kelwoni gen kasuku Kichar kuno Museveni upen Latini la Latina wobini ki gene ki microphone waji ini kwano ngo why ana kwano bioengineer ko inen kong ini bioengineer tech kulu technician kulu tij ma Latini romo timune tij ma pira tech ma rom ma chali genyu ko tuo ki ngongo gini ento tin gina Latini en romo timune ma lobu ko tichi en ni plong pere o dok don ka timu video en TikTok ena ye dong tiu keken Inano po gene lobo Uganda da bulu ayo per percent piera ya boro kulu bulu me Uganda pien ka yini tie la kermani kenyu kai launch unyo business ya what mabe unyo e very position mabe kuoni bene gena ye no gena yo wachi eni don kwane ram don ke kwan ko pangari pien en wego en Rwandese chelo kadini ineni ikarma gen donyo Jo me luero kacha baganda maki goyo maki kimer neko kimer tie kugi oli wengi mono pian Rwandese ubin lobo Uganda. Inano pego pa Rwandese pegik. Kubericha no getamne gena yomier gilo Uganda. Kubericha wani lutiano mao donyi I parliament. Jo manyen mao donyi parliament maki luongi ni PLU tutwale maaki tung Buganda kenyu mo dokere dong tung western kacha. Pole dong lutiano pa jo mayangu donyi gene Museveni geni. Nyano. Gikara ma joni donyo bene. Gute mgena kiloni privatization terni ki kwanyo enti mugu magamento miero beta timune dano mano anywali me Uganda ni gu kwanyo ko office mugu chalu kweke chalu bank mugu mano miero bet bank me Uganda kwere chani bank mati Uganda mapa Ugandans giario iken dok red bank eguni ber jogi bene petie Pien bang mayangu bien gukwal bang me achel magu no Greenland ma ber bang pa down me anywali me Uganda gumayo ko Salim Saleh Museveni Janet gukwanyo bang ene watin kesi puti court jal red bang ene kineko ko ineno so jami Rwandese magu donyo kere Uganda magu timi kom down dog imede kitimi ne duande da anywhere Look me Rwandese debate any petum me the benepawa merugeni pien gien kelu pero ke ken bojo annually me Uganda. Inano ko berishani gitika wachi bola duon Uganda. Pien gimete ginong chente ki wa. Chente li enuni gube chama bere pigi ken ki chente eni pe obo dano. Plan gitieni obiere gitak tutu dano ko ki tuo mugo marajo ma beru chal ki bola. We are global bambwa ye ni Ebola ti Uganda da ina timpa chil pa Johnny ikare ma Johnny bienu gutuju danu kisilim pingo lok misilim po beru dit to twale kare po bore ikare pa Idi Amin. Why wasn't HIV/AIDS a big deal in the governments of Obote and Idi Amin and the predecessors? Why was it that when Museveni came HIV/AIDS became a huge deal? Because right now, Museveni is the owner of the factory that produces ARVs, which is medications for HIV, to maintain stability of the virus in people's body. Komberi chawa na tika wachi, gamente pa Museveni ki komeni, ena ye red factory, ma yubu yat, ma tuju, gina, yat magalwoni ARVs, pa ma gina malaria ni. Factory eno ni oberu factory pa Museveni ki come inke go la dit lobo Carmen donyo utuju dano go ki Selim pero mtum ki Uganda gulu kenyu kake wachi Selim daktika America kituju dana tie ijero ya jero kwa nyuremo nyo kitiu kilibir nyo kituju HIV virus ki come kom dano pien gimete gimete kilono ngo dano ma anywali me Uganda ineno chikomberi chawani da wunpo ye debate matika bieno en lokom jo muguma aki Rwanda magemiro beru in ministry makilwoni internal affairs very wachi bedroom madit atangati monini ini awa kikamoni ini mieti kakimini ini welo kiwa ini buri we come gena kacha in pay mero imieti i bedroom aye ineno mona ni petiu en gina watika kwerdan makiloni Dr. Lawrence Muganga uberu welo pero mu beru kama tie in ministry make yubo ye passport ministry make yubo ye ID pien manyuti noni dong obichoyo dong passport ben dong dino sama dina kono kenywalo Rwandese money ko puya kenywalo kwango gen weng dong tukuno ngarta manyuti dong gen weng do boberu ngo dano me Uganda dong kita yi gumiro meno ni petie lobo moke ken maromo poko pati enone ministry enone bod dano ma donyi ko balma wan watemu yang chon ena me ye Museveni bin barike. We made a huge mistake allowing Museveni to come and be a president of Uganda. That was a huge mistake. Our parents did it. We cannot reverse it, but our generation must not allow for this to continue with their lineage. No. The Ministry of Internal Affairs is too intimate to be given to be given to a foreigner like Dr. Lawrence Muganga to rubber stamp and continuously give entry freely to these Rwandese people. Gashumba made a statement and said that Ministry of Internal Affairs has been the biggest enemy of Rwandese, rightfully so. Because what Gashumba means by that is that internal affairs should become like Nasa Road, where they can generate whatever they can for whomever without question. The reason Aronda Nyakairima was killed was because Aronda refused to open that door for the Rwandese to just gain passports and access into Uganda freely. There is not a country that allows for that. Otherwise, the whole world would be one field of everyone. There'll be no identity. We would all be one big world. You know, it doesn't matter where you come from or how you look like or whatever. But the problem of Rwandese in Uganda, the problem that Rwanda has in Uganda is because Rwandese in Uganda have stifled livelihood of Ugandan natives in Uganda. That is the big problem. Gino waldano makiloni Rwandese pebe Uganda wacheli ena yepiani Johnny enuni gine gutoro kwa jo manually me Uganda deda dok gimete kitoro ne koi go balalo kubedichani ya chwele kachani balalo chika weng magitika manu ngom madano matope dugu kaucher por pe dugu duanta dan makiton ton duanta dan mano kitemnining duanta iya chwele kacha Northern Uganda, Eastern kuja weng. Gien go bino diaima or wenki ya chwele ni weng pako pa Rwandese. All the cattle that is lost from Teso towards from Eastern all the way to the north, Central, everywhere, because of Rwandese coming to Uganda. There is a long list of Rwandese problems in Uganda. So we don't care if they are born there or if they are whatever there, because when they came, we welcomed them as refugees. Period. If they were good guests, they would not make sure that they're the only ones in the leadership of Uganda. That Museveni must be the president of Uganda, and then Museveni's son must continue the presidency. Then Muhoozi's son must continue the presidency. That is problem number one with Rwandese in Uganda. Pero maraj dong loyo ki job Rwandese mati Uganda ni ena yeni gien tamni gena ya umira gi lo Uganda gien ken gi meno pelare. No. Gien tamoni Museveni ya umira bedla dilobo ka eno tiago wode dago kwan gini ka eno a wota Muhoozi benedare o mede kingo kitelu Ugandans meno eni petwere. The first thing Museveni did when he settled in Ankole was to make sure the kingdom of Ankole is destroyed completely. Because he felt like it was too much competition. That is the problem we have with Rwandese, and we cannot entertain it any further. The rest of them, you know, after all of this is done, we can resort ourselves and reorganize and see about what rules and laws they must follow if they remain. But it is in our favor not to allow this to continue. No. Ginapira tek loyo ena yeni joma kilongi ni balalo nyo Rwandese. Po ye go mapi. Po ye go ben mort. Pi pero mana machel gintam ni gina yelo lodge me Uganda. Keken karma Museveni bini Ankole kacha ni other kingdoms must not exist alongside him. The Kabaka of Buganda cannot come out to say, why are you breaking down houses of my people? Because he's under siege. Uganda is that they think that they are the owners of the slaves they call Ugandan nationals. They have made Ugandan slaves in their own country. They dictate when and how long somebody lives. That is a big problem. Pero madong right loyo ena yeni Rwandese tamni gena yo miera gi lo Uganda meno yeni po ye piandano tomorrow anyway be enuni. In fact, it could be the only reason why Rwandese are not welcome in Uganda. It's because they think they are the owners of Uganda and they're the only ones good for leadership in Uganda. No, unacceptable. That is the problem. Anywhere can exist, no problem. I even have friends here who are from Rwanda. I do. I've had employees who are Rwandese. I've hired Rwandese people to work in my businesses. But I kid you not, the problem is the Rwandese in Uganda who think they are the almighty in Uganda. That is the problem. Pega achele kan. Ni John itamni giana yomiere gila lobo Uganda. Eni pewa ye. Enwe Dr. Lawrence Muganga omiere peki ye obed minister kamonke kan Uganda. Tutwale pe ministry me internal affairs. No. Especially the Ministry of Internal Affairs. He should not be allowed to. And I'm glad the pressure is mounted. He has been thrown out, or whatever the case might be. They could be playing games, and this might as well be a diversion, but a diversion that has made the drums beat. I mean, if they were wondering how we feel, I think they know. Don't you think so? If Rwandese were wondering how we feel just by appointing this diversion they may call diversion, I think now they know that they cannot exist in Uganda anymore because they were guests. We gave them everything. We gave them our names. But they've continuously moved the goalposts and stifled life for Ugandans. That is unacceptable. That is my point about being against Rwandese in Uganda. Anywhere Joma aki Rwanda mierpo yegi ubed umatpi ubed mara Uganda. Gashumba gi eno berkilo kwenen Gashumba mamwa. Tika wachi en kadano po ye Joma aki Rwanda Uganda. Any be commanding, any be kelulu mon makiluni M23 kubingu nekjo Uganda. Kego kong. Where does this useless man called Gashumba get the power to say something like that in a country where he's a guest of? He's a descendant of the guest. His father was a refugee. Talk about being ungrateful. They have stolen all the cattle of all Ugandans everywhere. Chris Kyonga, those are the people who went and burned people in Teso, in cargo, in trains. So we must not accept these Rwandese people in Uganda under any circumstance. Not. We must not. Whatever they're trying to do, obviously right now, several things are against them. And thank God, because for the best reasons and interests of Ugandans, everything they're doing is working against them. Ebola. They are the ones who own the hotels. They are the ones who own the tourist industry. They are the ones who do all of Kazora. I was complaining the other day about, the pronouncement of Ebola and how they've taken it too far. It is pinching them. It is hurting them where it matters. The sovereignty bill, they put that to be sure to ban Bobby Wine from doing what he's supposed to do. It has ended up hurting them instead. The dual citizenship bill, they set that up to try to stop Dr. Chingi from getting back to Uganda. But guess what? It is now biting on Dr. Lawrence Muganga. Everything they're doing is against them. Museveni is so old, tired, and exhausted that he has manic episodes of dementia in State House, being chased down the hallways and tied down in a room just so that he doesn't become a nuisance to himself. We have everything for us and everything they have and make against them. The Bible says the wish, they say whatever an evil person wishes on somebody else happens to them. But the Bible also says that whatever a righteous person wishes comes to them. So basically, whatever you wish comes to you, whether you wish it on you or someone else. It just matters if it is from your heart. And whatever it is will come to you. So all the rules, all the laws, everything that they are putting to try to stifle Ugandans or Ugandans abroad or Ugandans in Uganda are essentially affecting them. inano chiek weng magitika timne kubedi chana tie wachi jami magitika timne kubedi chawani meneno ni gineno ni joma anywali ma Uganda udeno chana dada chan gi potum jami no kubedi chani doktika wono gi aye neno lok me ebola ni guwajo kilobo weng ni ebola tieko ini neno ka gukata ki lok me ebola kuman lobo mukena dong lor dogola geko wachi po amiro joma komgi tuo ebola koni donyo kere lobo wa man kubedi chani pegi romo nongu visa kari gitiki visa pegi romo nongu ticket dege mugo dong pe o Uganda ba dege mugo pe piebe dong pe gamo joma ake Uganda pi tuo maki wachi ebola ti Uganda ni kun lok nguno ba guwajo endi mera waja wengo gene nong chente pien jui ka Museveni kok manok ni lo ma wako tuki chwalo chene chot pien jami weng ma Museveni utimo kun tiki plan menu to ni ena ye gene ibinu chalo malaika mezaya chalo Yesu kunon nyuruni ena ye ibinu ka konyo dano peni kuno ena yo kelo peko ne ba chale iluero kacha Museveni ubinu bitonge ki joba ganda kenyu bine di woto dano udiku binu ka kokedwuni uya lok mandok rado gene do rarajma ubora jo bora yo binu to dano kuno ena yo binu to ko beri chawa ni lwen mo beri katime kono Somalia kono kwena madon ki luo Museveni ni ena ye peacekeeper ni ena ila guak gina ni peacekeeper ni Karman Museveni monye M23 chero chelu peng matek kado en monye UPDF orgi wachi uchero chigina uchero chinene gina jo mani matia chelu dane guweko chelu dane ko en Museveni goal team ki M23 wachi chelu matek kado nguchelu ramo wachi aya do duk chen kada or UPDF wai uchero chinen Karmano UPDF tika donyo no M23 tika weng no plan pa Museveni inano lo ma wako war Museveni pe mwake mapol to la chocha tiyu ki siasa keken manara. I'm talking about M23, for example, in Congo, the way Museveni has been operating, where they think that he is the Messiah or he's the Savior and so on and so forth. Right now, he's trying to to make Muhoozi come up as that, but it's still failing because, you know, he doesn't have the same wires in his head. Museveni would come in the night, cause atrocities, come in the morning and cry with people. And so even in Somalia, places like Somalia, Congo, he would be the one to send M23 to go and cause attacks. And then bring UPDF to come in and try to quench the situation. In the meantime, he would call M23 and tell them, oh, retreat, do not, stop. So that UPDF seems like they are getting on top of what, they're dispersing the conflict that is happening currently. The U.S. believed him. In Somalia, Museveni was Al-Shabaab. When he hit people in Kololo in Uganda a couple of years ago, I think 2021, when they were watching the World Cup, it was Museveni. He set up, the bombings to kill people so that he can get money from the Western world. I mean, it has been a long time coming, but this man has now been figured out. Let us not allow for this to continue in his son or whatever he thinks he wants to set in place. Do not allow this Muganga nonsense. Flush it all the way. Muganga must not exist and be a minister of internal affairs, because it is an intimate ministry where we control in and out, migration here and there, identity of Ugandans. If Muganga becomes and continues to be the minister in that department, the problem is that our identity will be given to Rwandese. Without a doubt. Big issue. Okay? Not a ministry like that. Not at all. So, I kilebecholi nati wachi jami moguma tika time kupeti chawani tika time pibewa kari gikerme neno ni gitur wadeda iyonge kai neno ko mot jami ne time pibe pa lobo jo me Uganda Museveni keken mwaka ne do chero chitumo gubu ne be don pe kai neno woro no kituju ki tuan yad men weko ni ubet uram chung ki yot ka cha state house kitiku mako ne amaka beti really ria wachi jo money mo to tika ria me ki meru neke mono tuo me di which can make luoni dementia. Ento dana no nego luak nek dana duong kumeno no adaja me mogo libu inano. So jali anu ne muaka do chero ma dong tika mini one chance jo me Uganda me neno ni ene dong kapa wa maka mabewe eni ka do bot ke chengwa chubo beru tak kwanye na bo beru tak bill makiluoni sovereignty bill ke yibo bill ene me neno ni ke toro Bobby Wine ogo ma oberu latin Uganda matika temo chu me neno ni ene beru beno latela ilobo ne o mano miera ki ye kai kano nene jali pe dana marach Bobby Wine no miero chung pire kene chalu dana me Uganda beno ki ye ki bol kui ire kadi dano miero Museveni don kanong peke yer do cherchi bed mot eni Museveni pe ye inano eno we okero bill ma sovereignty ento sovereignty bill ku bede chawani to ka jal ma ki luoni gena ne oko Muganga dok bill cherchi kayo ne oko inano we gitemu jemi kuno gitamani gitemu pirache kom dano ma ake Uganda ento porikomgi ibola kupedi chawani gena ye rwedi hotel madon Uganda gena ye wegi tourism gena ye wegi passport gena ye wegi visa gena ye tieki kwa mabe me chero wako me kar me dugu ko pedi chani get kilor ligwing dege mapie entebe pegamo dano ma ake Uganda mogo kelu chilaka nono chera jo ma tourism mabino ka lem Uganda kupedi chani pegi warba Pegi bina Uganda pian Museveni ukate ko chiwachingo e bara chi Uganda kun en genu chiente we kichwal billions a di ire chena en bena pe obot jo Uganda man kita ati mekere ni kimyete ki tujdano ki bola monweng bala kaya da kona ni bola ti Uganda State of the Nation address kulu la dirlo pe loko me bola State of the Nation loko me bola uberpe Lokom en kono Rwanda kono nga kono Dr. Lawrence Muganga ni po meti loko ne ye. Pati lok moke ken la dit lobo kuluba. I'm saying the whole president had a national address a few days ago and did not speak about Ebola. Ain't that crazy? How are we supposed to believe that truly there is some sort of national pandemic in Uganda? You can see the trickery. But the good thing is that they're the ones who own the tourist companies. They're the ones who own the passports. They're the ones who own the visas. They're the ones who own, who have plans to go abroad. They are the ones who, all of these things that they have for themselves set up have been stifled by the Ebola announcement by their own person. So, talking about shooting yourself in the foot, they plan on doing these things so they can put Ugandans on lockdown. This has instead locked them up. It has locked them up. There's no way these Rwandese people, the Kazoras and all of them, are all complaining. They can't. Sovereignty bill, clammed Dr. Lawrence, okay? Dual citizenship, clammed Dr. Lawrence. The guy's old. That's their problem, not ours. Legitimacy. He can't. He cannot make it for the world to accept him. The whole world has just ignored Museveni like a wanderer. Like, you know what, it's a crazy guy, just don't worry about him. Nobody cares about Museveni. Nobody acknowledges him. Nobody's inviting him for anything. And he knows it. The biggest thing Museveni struggles with right now is the truth. Because he knows it. Museveni knows he stole the election. Museveni knows Ugandans don't want him. Museveni knows that he's illegitimate. Museveni knows that the world doesn't care about him. Museveni knows that the world has figured him out. Museveni knows that he has killed a lot of people. Museveni knows that Ugandans have known every secret that he has done. All Museveni is trying to do now is to maintain a current situation. He doesn't know what tomorrow brings. He doesn't know what the next hour brings. Museveni lives for this minute, right now. And that's hard. That is hard for an old man who has no knees to continue chasing dreams like he used to. He doesn't have any. So I say all this to say that Uganda, you are at the brink of change. If anyone is losing hope, do not. If Museveni could not take over Uganda when we were sleeping, when we didn't care, or we didn't know what he was doing, when we praised Museveni and worshipped Museveni, if he couldn't take Uganda then, he couldn't do it now. Atika wachi, ka Museveni po kwanyu Uganda ikara ma 1 foot wi wa petiu ma pia wangwa ya pe ma pia wanyang kita jami waro kede kita jara pa Museveni waro kede ko bedi chawa ni madong wa cho ani Museveni pera mo kwanyu lo Uganda atika waji jo ma unoni chwinyu tika to po to chwinyu po ye au chu matek aloga tika nen iyo wenya chek mo iken ma Museveni utimo dak noni mako gena ye kwa ko gen dak loyo Jomi weng ma Museveni utemo dir mwaka ko dir time limit ko dir weng peko pa Museveni gina Museveni do ngey loy ana iloga da Museveni ngey ni ene kwa lukui Museveni ngey ni Ugandans dong pe mere Museveni ngey ni jo lo ma wako dong pe mare Museveni ngey ni lo ma wako be dong ngey kita en la kuo kede wa Museveni ngey ni dano ngey ngo ma ene timo ma duanta nek ma Museveni utemo dano ma tika kati ma tero lok kita Museveni or ke kere katimo bal ma don duanta ma Museveni kuperchane tamuni kai nego jo mogogo ti loga da karoko ento lok maki choy duanta lok ma wan lok ti video duanta lok maki timo recording ti duanta petie yo mo ke ken ma Museveni romo lono gien ma enti ye ko beti chawani pe romo lono ne a wati wuku na ngeni au jing twin UPN ka obot kiching Museveni tek wode o mako ginyo ko mabewe chubo beru tek kwanye bo beru tek ento sign when nyuruni po bitwere pien wang dano ya peko ini nen kita wa goyo kede Dr. Lawrence maki meti kwanyo ne waki ministry nen kong loka dana keken maki kweru te loki no ni Dr. Lawrence tiki citizenship uberu bukweta ni ena nyual eni beru gena like citizen me Canada Beranchi citizen me Rwanda passport ya de majali woro kede kekete lwenyo por Uganda kun Canada tika gono Uganda jale en ramu tung Canada go Uganda ko en ginu wego tie ministry mogo mapeke mi atane piano in mire ibet ki gere very way in kache ini dako kila cho ma wunu nyome ino kacharu dako pangari monini chuori dong ngat monini in dong dako ni ngat monini in pera mu wachi an chuara ini ento ini bena chuara pelare ineno pelare miere chung kachel en wego ki wachi jale ni tiki citizenship in Canada tie bena ki passport me Rwanda pingo en wachi ni en miere beru minister Uganda diru maja ka lwanyo poro ikin Rwanda Uganda ki Canada ubichunka kwane kai ngeya ni jale eni ni wele Uganda obichung Canada nyo chung Rwanda me gon Uganda de daineni ine anwe eno we lo ma pat kai donye mo lipap kituki wachi ini mara bib imero yer beru ka kwane tung kwane kai donye mo ni America kan ki wachi in kai ina nywali me Uganda mier ko ngwane ne walogo kama ina bichun yego makituki mi citizenship mi America ko choro bien pe miere idonyi mon iberi moni ri ko noti ni tikanti na chel tikan peke ye ene man ena yo beru ministry enini miere peke ye inanwe that is the problem a miere ni a lock on Rwandese enini it is not because of Rwandese as a race as a human race that is the problem no it is the Rwandese in Uganda who think that they have power over the existence of Ugandan indigenous people. That is a problem. That's the problem. The problem originated from us allowing Museveni to become a president. Obote was right, but he should have stopped it anyway. Obote should have stopped this man from existing and not hired him and so on and so forth. But it's too late. It's too late for us to reverse what happened between Obote and him and the transition. Okay? But let us not allow it to continue. No. Premier wa ye mete ni dano ma aki Rwanda obed alye la tela me Uganda ni jo ma aki Rwanda obi obed mot gena yegu beri ministry mengo gena yegu yubyat gena yegu. Can you imagine in Mulago hospital, government hospital, they have a pharmacy in there where patients after being seen in Mulago must go and buy medications from a pharmacy owned by a Rwandese in the hospital. A pharmacy is in a hospital that is privately owned. Can you imagine that? In a government hospital sits a privately owned pharmacy where a patient, after being treated in the government hospital, where there is no medicine, not gloves, no IVs, none of no cannulas. When women go to deliver, you bring your own bucket of water. You must go and buy medicine from this Rwandese person's pharmacy in the government hospital. Somebody could die because they don't have Panadol or Tylenol because this Rwandese person must make money off of the sickness in Uganda. The government will not provide, a government that is run by Rwandese people. You see that? There is rot everywhere. Rot everywhere. The problem, I'm going to say this for the last time, the problem with us not wanting Rwandese in Uganda is because they think they must prevail over indigenous Ugandans in every aspect of life, and that is unacceptable. Gianamiu pewa meti Rwandese oberi lobo Uganda ni penny down makinwale makilwoni Rwandese mati wilobo weng uberu rom ento mati Uganda ni pewa mirugi pian gintam ni gina yo miragila wan jo Uganda iyo moke ken ioriat igankwani i parliament kakwana weng gina yo miragila menu bobi tiu pewa meti umete. Okay, so briefly, that's what I wanted to talk about. If anybody's confused as to why there's a lot of language about Rwandese, Ugandans, my friends in America, you may have questions. The answer to that question is not that I am ungrateful about being an immigrant in this great country. No. I just don't think that I, as an immigrant, must run this country how I feel. I wouldn't do that. I am grateful to be here, and it's a level playing field. Therefore, I work as hard as I can to achieve what I deserve. And that's how it should be anywhere in the world, especially Uganda. Why must Ugandans not have a level playing field in their own country? Why must Rwandese own everything and have Ugandans as slaves? That is the problem with Rwandese in Uganda. Pero madong raj ni makwaro lokar balalo beri Uganda ena gintam ni gina yo mira gilawa gina yo mira beri tichweng gina yo mira beri magukwano gina yo mira beri argiari gina yo mira beri gankwani gina yo mira law business gina yo mira pokchane gina yo wigi ngom gina yo wigi factory gina yo wigi jami weng menu peketa kwa mira beri kere Uganda mira Uganda dugbot jo Uganda inano wati wunu matek Jami wenku pedi chawa ni tika wat kita miya rupet kere meneno ni wan jo anyweli ma Uganda wad no jami wa lobo wa dokbot wa. Everything is working in the right direction. I want to assure you that we are getting there. We systematically, in the rules, in whatever they're doing, it is hurting them the most. Let us be steadfast because it is coming. Change is happening as it should. The best thing we have is that this man will drop dead any day. Any day. Gina dong be loy ana ini Museveni cha moy ken kwan rom tumogo. Meno gin ma ruba yobo natural. Mwagane do chero. Peki ye dok money and worry ma wheel ding. O teme berani and be mako gini. No. Power you. Power you. Let us make a difference as the new generation. Our parents accepted Museveni, but we must not. We don't have to. We are not going to. We're not. So, I love you and leave you. I wanted to at least highlight on that. For anybody who thinks we absolutely hate Rwandese people, it's not about them. No, it's not. It's just that the way they exist in Uganda is unacceptable. Unacceptable. Modern slavery. We don't want that. We're not going to accept it. It will not continue. Therefore, we will continue fighting them. We will continue. This is my contribution. However I can, I will not stop until we achieve change in Uganda. Okay? Love you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.